Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts 3 playthrough. So, yeah, Buzz kind of got a little bit taken over, and Sora got tossed into a TV screen, and,
Where am I?
hey look! We're right in the middle of Verum Rex.
Come from a video game. So now you can watch my experiment from inside that screen. That is, if you manage to find a moment's rest.
There's got to be a way out. Buzz, Woody, hang on.
So yes, we have a full-on sort of pseudo-media game here. Basically, you've got to get into a Gygus and fight off all of the Gygus toys in Verum Rex. I believe it's Beat of Lead or something of that ilk. It's, yeah, you're basically just running around shooting things. The whole idea is that you want to obviously aim for the highest score possible, and the way that you do that is by trying to keep a really good chain going on all of the enemies. You want to sort of combo them effectively, and basically one of the good ways of doing that is by making use of the various hazards around the stage. So you've got things with the little exclamation marks above them. Basically you want to try and get a whole bunch of them around one of those and then blow it up, and then your chain goes up and so on and so forth. I can't remember what the there's a specific score that you want to try and get, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. Basically, with most of the mini games in Kingdom Hearts 3, there's sort of a highest score that they want you to get a trophy, I believe it is. And yeah, so it's just quite a fun side distraction. You're going to be spending a lot of time just holding sort of the blaster and just shooting. And really there's nothing overly challenging about this until you get towards sort of like the final phase, when they start throwing out these prime Gyguses, which just get very, very angry and very, very aggressive. And because they take longer to hit and kill, they end up it ends up taking a lot longer to kill them, and so it just gets a bit more dangerous. Now, one of the things that I feel is worth bringing up is so think of Verum Rex. Obviously, what everyone thought when they saw Verum Rex was, this is basically Final Fantasy Versus 13, but with a twist. Because, I mean, you've got Zora, who's basically Noctis. There was the guy with the fedora, who's basically Prompto. The guy with the glasses, who's basically Ignis. And then the female character, who very much looks like Stella. The character who would go on, sort of, to become Luna Freya in Final Fantasy 15. And yeah, it's one of those things where everyone sort of looks at it and go, yeah, that's totally it. Tetsuya Nomura said, no, that's not what that is. Yeah, I suspect that's very much more just kind of trying to cover tracks a little bit there. Is especially considering the so what Verum Rex translates to, because it's Latin, it translates to true king. So Verum is true, and Rex is king. So yes, it's the true king is what that relates to, which is basically Noctis in a nutshell. And that is also a whole bunch of the stuff to do with Final Fantasy 15 and partially what Versus 13 was going to be. So it's one of those things where you look at it and just go, yeah, don't mess with me here on this one, Nomura. It's quite clear what your potential intentions were on this one, so don't be ridiculous. But it's a fun little distraction. And obviously you can come back and participate in this at a later date if you wish. And actually, since we're wrapping this up, I definitely want to just make sure that I've gotten the actual score that you need to get. I don't think that you can actually get it until you go into sort of post-game. So yeah, you want to get a grand total of 12 million points in this. As you can see, that is surprisingly not as difficult as it perhaps might appear to be. I don't know whether it's because it's going to be slightly different in the post-world version or not. Because at the minute I have... oh no, it is a bit more of a challenge because I'm only at 1,145,000 and you need to get up to 12 million. So yeah, it's one where you've got to really know how you're working it all, and yeah, it's definitely a case of making use of all of your extras that you got available to you. And yeah, I'm going to have fun when I eventually go back to try and do that. But for succeeding, we get the Pixel Heart Binder, which allows us to use our very first summon for the game, which is Wreck-It Ralph, which is really quite awesome, and I really quite like that. And while I've not managed to really use Ralph effectively, he can be absolutely terrifyingly deadly. He can take off like a boss's health bar within seconds. It's ridiculous. But anyway, fingers crossed Sora can manage to get out of the game now and back into the real world. And there we go.
Sora!
You alright, Sora?
Yeah, I'm just fine. And you?
Oh.
Wait, where's Buzz?
He disappeared into a dark corridor.
Oh.
Sora, how do we get him back?
I don't know. My power won't open those.
Sir, did I hear you say dark corridor?
That's right, Sarge. Any ideas?
Well, it might be a long shot, but we've sighted a shadowy portal in the Kid Corral. We can infiltrate from a window inside babies and toddlers. I'll head there and get it open.
Sarge, you're a lifesaver! You guys in?
Yeah!
Please promise you'll bring Buzz home.
With batteries included?
Journey safely. Farewell.
Don't worry. We're gonna get our friend back.
So, fair warning, I'm going to get quite lost in a minute. So, what Sarge said right there was, there's a sort of a door in the Kid Corral. We should be able to get to it from a window in Babies and Toddlers. So, what my brain automatically assumed, as I'm sure many others I would think / hope would also think, is that so you have to go to the Babies and Toddlers store, which, as was stated, was where all the dolls were. That was what was classified as Babies and Toddlers. So I was like, right, okay, so I'm looking for a window in Babies and Toddlers that's going to lead me to this door, and it's all going to be fine. That is not how it works. You need to go to the Kid Corral, which is what he said first, and the door is just there. It's very simple. But yeah, it's a bit annoying. So yes, this is Ralph. Basically, the way that this works is you get to build a whole bunch of blocks, and what these blocks do is they freeze the enemies in place for a bit, and then you smash the original one, and it's sort of meant to kick off a chain reaction. I'm not quite sure how to properly get it to work. I think the idea is that you sort of want to sort of connect them all in some way so that it sort of fires off and then they sort of all hit each other and go boom! But I've not quite managed to pull that off, so ultimately I'm not going to use Ralph all that much. I mean, to be fair, I don't really use the summons all that much in general. And it's not that they're not good or anything, it's just that I kind of just tend to focus on just beating things up and using magic. So yes, I am going to sincerely apologise for what is going to happen for the next bit, because this is where I got lost. And this is the type of thing where, in these big wide worlds, this is the type of bit where you need a little bit more direction. Because obviously what the cutscene said and suggested was babies and toddlers. That's how you get to it. You get through a window in babies and toddlers. But as you can see, there is no window in babies and toddlers. It's clearly sort of a mistranslation of sorts. But it's sort of, I mean, to be honest, it's the only bit where I would say that I ever felt truly lost, and the game did not provide me any sort of inkling as to how to get myself out of the mess, other than just running around like a lunatic trying to find out where the hell I was meant to go. And it was frustrating. I mean, as you can imagine. I mean, seriously, how are you meant to sort of solve some of this stuff if they don't give you the correct directions? If they'd just said Kid Corral, I probably would have eventually figured it out, but it was the babies and toddlers that was throwing me off because they call this babies and toddlers. And the reason I say that I think this is probably the only place where this sort of issue happens is because I don't recall getting really lost in the slightest in any of the other worlds apart from slightly Arendelle, but that's only in a very specific location, which, to be fair, is meant to be maze-like, so that makes sense. I mean, even in, like, the biggest world, or at least the biggest sort of open area, which is the Caribbean, which we'll eventually get to, never got lost. San Francisco, never got lost, just here, and just this bit. So, I don't know what happened. I wish that there was some way that they could fix it. I mean, all it really needed was like a camera swoop to where I was meant to go, like Sarge or whatever showing me a photo of where I needed to go, show me on the gummy phone. That'd be fine. Or be like, say, where we fought the UFO. That also would have sufficed as a an answer, because that is ultimately where we need to go. But I just ended up spending a very long time running about like a crazy person. And in most normal circumstances, I would have cut this out. The problem with that is that in my running around to figure out where the hell I was meant to go, I did end up picking up a few treasure chests and different things. So it was one of those moments of, oh, I probably need to leave this in now. Because I made a boob in going to places that I didn't need to go to and finding things that, while I'm quite happy that I found, probably would have preferred to have found later rather than in this point, because then it meant that I couldn't edit around it very effectively. So it just means that we're going to be here for longer than we would have been otherwise. But hey, these things happen. And I have to say, I made a terrible decision in going with the counter shield and all that jazz, fighting off these guys, because obviously electrics. Fighting electrics. Well, lightning versus lightning. It's not going to work very well. But I suppose the positive thing of this slight mess of a situation is that it does just allow me to level up and get a little bit more powerful. And also, I mean, to be fair, the combat in Kingdom Hearts 3 is just so fun that just running about doing whatever is completely and utterly delightful. It's just sort of the getting lost bit that I am not the biggest fan of. And I can't quite remember how long it did take me. I mean, we're sort of a good, what, 8 minutes-ish of searching right now? Like, I mean, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. It could have gone really, really far south.
Let's see.
But yes, well, I thought whilst I was, you know, having a slightly miserable time trying to find what I was meant to find, I thought, you know what, I'm going to finish off doing this particular Moogle photo challenge. Although I don't know why it was very finicky. It didn't decide, well, it didn't want to exactly play ball, because that is indeed the display that you're meant to take a photo of. But I think you've got to get a very specific angle on it in order for it to work. Which is a shame, and oh look, there's that other thing that the marionette can take control of. So we haven't seen it yet, so it's nice that we do finally get to spot it now. And I'm sure you do, Goofy, but right now I'm riding Lightning Pegasus and having a whale of a time. I will say, I still love that move from Goofy. To be fair, most of the moves that you do with Donald and Goofy are just utterly delightful, and I always really like it when I'm able to get them to use them. More so, I suppose, than any of the ones that you get to use with any of the Disney characters. Which, I don't know, I feel like maybe that is a bit of a surprise to me. But on the flip side of that, I think it's because at the end of the day, Donald and Goofy are obviously such a part of the team that it makes sense that sort of their extra moves, while not incredibly overpowered, are just really, really fun.
That was close. Let's see.
And there we go, we finally completed that photo mission. It only took bloody forever. And yeah, it was at this point I was just going, is there any way for the game to kind of like come up with a little objective thing? Just give me a little bit of a reminder of what's going on, please? Tell me where I'm meant to go, because I don't know, and I'm lost, and I'm confused. And really, as a, you know, someone who has played a lot of video games over the years, part of me feels embarrassed by this. Because it's like, this is the type of thing that should not be causing an issue. Because I have played enough games to sort of be able to find my way around. But then, clearly, it really doesn't matter how many games you've played, it is still very easy to accidentally get lost. So yeah, it was at this moment that I was just like, you know what, right, I'm going to go to a save point, and then we will go from there. You know, just completely not looking in the direction of the one area where I am meant to be going. because it didn't make any sense to me. I was just like, right, now this is what I need to do. Sit down, be naughty and look up a guide, because this is getting ridiculous. I can't sit around for another 10 minutes not knowing where the heck I am meant to be going. And then as soon as I found out exactly where I was meant to be going, I was just like, really? Really? You're doing that to me? Although I'm clearly going in completely the wrong direction again. So, this is going to continue for a bit longer. You see, babies and toddlers, dolls. This is why. Do not call things the same things, for God's sake. Otherwise it's just ridiculous. So yeah, at this point I was like, right, I'm going to look everywhere for a window. In babies and toddlers. There are no windows in babies and toddlers. Not a sausage. That said, at least I did find an easier way to get up to this particular treasure chest. And I suppose it's giving us a nice extra look at everything in babies and toddlers dolls that we maybe didn't get to fully see before. But yes, as you can see, there is definitely no window in here, because, well, apart from, the window that we used to get outside of the place. But, yeah. I suppose the other positive is that we get to just continue listening to this really gosh darn amazing battle theme. Like, it's really fun, really bouncy, really peppy, and honestly I could just fight to this for a very, very, very long time. Although obviously right now I'm not fighting, I am looking. I am just going scouring every little thing, and then oh, this is the bit, so it says babies and toddlers outdoors to reach the kid corral. And I don't know whether that helped me too much. I don't know how I didn't realise I could pause. That's it. Because that is an issue that I didn't quite realise. You can't actually pause when you're not in combat, because pause takes you to the pause menu. Well, pause like the same button takes you to the main menu. So it just doesn't happen. And I suppose it does say find the dark corridor in the kid corral, but it's, yeah, it's still telling me things. I'm just like, is it that window? What window am I telling me about? I don't know anymore. And then babies and toddlers outdoors. Is it this bit? Is it this bit with all the cuddly toys? What's going on? I'd say at this point I can only apologise for this very, very embarrassing run of the toy box, because honestly this is ridiculous. But then very much in line with what I stated from the start, the whole point of this playthrough was to show off my first experience of Kingdom Hearts 3, and ultimately this is what it was. So yeah, I don't know why I'm not thinking to go to the one area up on this floor that I haven't really been to yet. But I think maybe finally, please let this be the moment when I realise. Come on, turn right.
Sora, look!
And there we go.
That must be the window Sarge mentioned.
Yes, that is the window he mentioned. But as you can see, until you actually get to babies and toddlers outdoors, it didn't say outdoors in the cutscene. And I'm pretty sure that when you first come into this particular area, it doesn't pop up with that message, because you're sort of immediately flung into the boss fight with a UFO, so you don't necessarily identify this bit as Babies and Toddlers Outdoors, even though it is. So yeah, frustrating experience to say the least. However, once we're here inside the Kid Corral,
The entrance was blocked by
it's
blocks.
quite fun.
Can you use the Gigas to move them?
Yeah, maybe. I'll try.
So yes, when you're in a Gigas, you can do a thing called Mag Assemble, which basically allows you to move these green blocks out of the way and assemble them in a very specific manner. Thankfully, this immediately opens up the doors to Babies and Toddlers Outdoors. Yeah, it's quite a fun little bit.
How are we gonna reach that?
We're going to make our own
Well,
path,
there are
that's
some more
how.
blocks here. This town ain't big enough.
So yes, the way that this works is you basically have to go around murdering everything possible and basically create a wonderful construction which is going to allow us to flow motion our way to the dark corridor. And it's quite fun. I mean, basically the only way that you can move the blocks is by murdering all of the Heartless. So you are going to have to do that if you want to make progress. And there are quite a few instances of this throughout, so you do have to make a move as you sort of explore. But thankfully, outside of one bit which you kind of have to go inside a very specific area to be able to unlock it, and more of them had turned up. I thought I'd managed to glitch the game somehow and they'd like disappeared, but no, they were very visibly present, just they'd moved over. But yeah, I have to say it's a very fun little thing that we are going to be building up here.
We'll need more than
Right now,
that.
yeah, it's not going to get us where we need to be.
Hey, there's some over
But
there.
that is okay, and Goofy saying, there's some over there is not going to be very helpful to me. However, there are some in this structure here. You just have to do a little bit of exploring. Annoyingly, so with this particular one, and it's not the easiest time exploring this thing whilst you're in a Gigas, because obviously you can't see things quite so well. There are certain holes that you cannot jump up or around. There are a couple of treasure chests hidden about in here as well, so you are probably going to want to explore this without using a Gigas, because that is going to make life easier for navigating anyway, but you need a Gigas obviously in order to move the blocks, so it's one of those things of choose whatever makes it easier for you to make it around here. Ultimately what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to Gigas my way through pretty much the entire thing, because I am a loser and this is the way that I wanted this to go. I was just like, I'm not getting out of my Gigas, that would be lazy, I can't be bothered. But I will say that I'm quite glad that they do give you a marker of where all of the Heartless are, otherwise I would have gotten really very incredibly lost. And this would not have ended well, let's put it that way. And then yeah, it was very much a case of I'm not sitting in that Gigas anymore with the beep 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 beep. Well, I'm pretty sure that Gigas was not that colour when I got in it, but there we go. And there is a delightful treasure chest in here, so it's just like, well, clearly I'm going to have to get out to get that. And whilst I'm doing that, I might as well just more quickly kill you guys, because they were just getting in the way. And then it's just very much a case of finding the remaining enemies, which are around. I think it's just these ones left. There might be one or two more, but no. Okay, there's one more who is sitting, or a couple more. Oh, there's a couple more. Ah, they're just here, so that's all right. Oh, and there's another treasure chest that I didn't spot. So definitely make sure to grab that before I move anywhere. And I'm sorry, but that Gigas was not blue when I got in it. It was green. Why do my Gigases keep changing colour? What is happening? Clearly Sora just likes changing the colours of everything that he jumps into, and I wonder if you can tell what our delightful thing is going to be. And no, you can't go up any higher. That's as high as that'll go. But we get a fun slide. So I'm going with this. And then we've got a fight in a ball pit, which I'm sorry, but I just love this. It's just ridiculous, and I love it. And why can't there be more video game fights in ball pits? I mean, like, come on. What is wrong with the world that we don't have more of these types of fights? Because they're completely ridiculous and just a lot of insane fun, and I am totally down for that. And I believe that one of the things that you can do is you can flow motion into the pendulum in the middle and cause all sorts of chaos with that. But obviously I'm causing all sorts of chaos with Lightning Pegasus as well. And there is a treasure chest in here, so you do have to think about that. And oh god, this is just going to get even more crazy. Mad teacups in a ball pit. With a spinning pendulum that I've not really made use of, and all sorts of other craziness. Annoyingly, there aren't any blocks in here, so we can't use anything in here to actually do much, but we do get to just escape out of sort of the room here. So now once again I'm going to get a smidge lost because there is, I believe, one or two more little areas which we need to go to, but they're not necessarily immediately obvious as to where they are. There is, however, a treasure chest here, so whatever would have happened, it would have been fine. And oh, it's a classic Kingdom game, which is great. So yeah, basically what we're looking for is we're looking for a doorway which we can get through, which will effectively allow us to reach an area that is sort of the only area we haven't really explored yet, which I believe you get to just sort of, it's over on this side, I believe. Basically you can sort of, yeah, if I fly over, it's just on the left there, so behind the central area. But once again, very easy to get lost, and I just could not figure out for the life of me where I was meant to go. Because it's over here. And then for some reason didn't think to, you know, try and get into the big area over on, but just sort of below where I'm standing, really. So I was thinking there was another bit that I need to get in because I thought it was in the big central structure, and it's not in the big central structure. And I suppose if I just, you know, turned around, I would have been able to see the absolutely huge door, because there is quite a big door, because it's big enough for a Gigas to fit through. And like, if I just fall down that corner, it would be fine. So yeah, and there we go. It's finally hit me how to get to this final area. You can't actually get in with the Gigas fully, so you do have to exit your Gigas, but they do provide you with Gigas inside. So you can either spend your time murdering all of these guys, which, to be honest, I'm just going to do anyway because it's fun. But I think, anyway, that this will be our final set of blocks. It might be our penultimate set of blocks. We'll see. But we are nearly there. Very nearly there. So, yeah. Once again, all I can do is apologise for the lots of getting lost in this particular part. But hey, at least you can sort of sum this part up as the part in which Richie got lost. And it's as much as I can, this will not happen again. Yes, the way that you get through this all is punching the heck out of these blocks. Because obviously you've got to get to the specific bit where the green blocks are. And fingers crossed this is indeed our last batch. And as you can see, it is indeed.
What's that? A cactus?
Yes, now that, my friends, is obviously a cactuar. And that is also why we had the really quite fun little Final Fantasy da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da jingle, which I am really happy that they did get in there. Obviously, for a lot of people there is not enough Final Fantasy in here, but this is exactly the type of Final Fantasy nods that I very much like and appreciate. Now, here is our chance to save up, do any sort of synthesizing, keyblade forging, whatever the hell we like, and then the dark corridor and our boss fight awaits ahead. And I have to tell you, it is going to be quite an exciting fight. I'm going to have a wonderful time, I feel. So, yes, with hopefully all of that done. Ooh, Koopa coins! So basically, if you run out of HP, they will bring you back immediately. So I would definitely always recommend having at least one Koopa coin on hand at any one moment, because one, you never know when something's going to go slightly tits up, but also it's just really helpful to have in general. Also makes my life a hell of a lot easier because it means that I don't have to edit around as many deaths. Anyway, here we go. Let's continue through the dark corridor and save Buzz!
It looked like this?
Yep.
Here goes.